me at all. Just a quick recording before I start doing the evening bird rounds, and just as I was going to start recording, some morons playing their do do do. I swear it's the sounds that brain deads play. That's just annoying. Anyway, so I've got I'm getting more movement back. Still not 100%. I finally got to use my mitered saw. I got it a week before my arm got broken and a week after Potter broke his leg. So it's been interesting. So I finally got to use it for the first time today, and I'll show you what I've been doing. So I've cut up some strips of wood here, and I've put some strips of wood up there. I've got to clean the cut wood and then put some braces and then paint. Basically, it's instead of a window box cover at the top, it's actually over the doorway, because as you can see, I don't even see that warping. The house is literally falling apart. It's on stilts, needs to be reposted, and yeah, it ain't happening. So there's no point having a door, it just slams with the wind that comes through the back door, which is behind this one. I mean, why do people play shit like that? I can understand if you're doing a long drive and you're trying to keep awake, and, you know, but I don't understand people that don't have better things to do. Anyway, my little, at the moment. So anyway, so these are just drapes that I've made, and there basically is going to be two layers. There'll be a mesh layer, and then there'll be the curtain layer. And it's just enough to keep, you know, the draft that comes in through that back door, which all the wind just comes through. I will have to do something for that as well. You can literally see outside through the cracks, and you can't put draft blockers as like feckless that you won't be able to close the door. So anyway, finally done that. I'm going to put plants up there and some retro vintage stuff. I really love this fabric. I think it suits, you know, the retro vintage. And it matches the fabric, well, not matches, it sort of goes with the colour theme I decided on when I sewed up those curtains. And, you know, this was just all empty with some really disgusting wood shelves that I took out. I do need to try and seal the cracks though, because come winter the rodents try to come in to keep warm and dry. I've got two cats, so they don't really get far, but still, this is a weatherboard home. They just chew through, and they go along the water pipes, because the water pipes are warm, and again they're trying to keep warm, so they, you know, so all the areas are affected that have a sink with the gas pipe, because that's where they go to keep warm. So I've done the same thing with this doorway coming in the kitchen. I've just put a short plank of wood there temporarily, but I have cut longer strips to do the same thing. So I'm kind of using this space. So finally my poor chooks have had a hard time. I feel like I've not done as much as what I should have been doing, but it's just been a very tricky time for me, from changing my operating systems, getting used to the operating systems, which I'm still getting used to 6 months, 12 months later. And then, you know, the disabled ducks and broken arm and, yeah, craziness. But back on top of it. So I've cut some wood to do a new house for the chooks. This is a solar operated chook door, which opens as soon as the daylight hits the sensor. I do need to get some more batteries though. I thought I had enough batteries, but I've run out of the battery pack I usually get. I do have some rechargeables, but they're old, so I'll give them a go at recharging them, but I'm not going to stress if they don't hold their charge. The lithiums have been sitting there way too long. So this is my mesh shovel, just charging up the battery. So this is my wonderful new saw, a new toy. So she was outside, and I love that smell. And I'll show you what I've done and how I'm doing it. And this, of course, I'm going to tidy this up. And I can't use my shed. It's a massive 2-car shed, but I can't use it. All the water comes in, mould. There's big gaps in the bottom. All the concrete split. So all the rodents from the back of the house, where there's a very feral family that lives there, they've got plum trees overhanging my shed, and they just go in and then cachet the plum fruits and nuts into the shed, and it's just a nightmare because they're native rats. So, you know, what do you do? So that's what it is. Hello, yeah. Oh, I know. See, this is what happens when you inbreed, honey. You play boom boom music like a retard. Yeah, not good inbreeding. Bad for the brain cells. It diminishes them quick. Hello, beautiful girl. So Suna and Kitty Cat. So as you know, Suna and Kitty Cat, they're disabled. And they're having a bit of a hard time. Well, Suna is. She just wants to keep up with everyone, and she's making her tendon worse in her legs, so I have to time her out. But she's raring to go. Suna, who's that? It's your best friend. Luna loves you. They all love you. Yeah. So this is an old outdoor table set. The glass had been broken off a long time ago, and I've kept the frame, and I'm so glad I did. I've just cut to size lengths of pallet that I've pulled apart, and so basically I'm going to put it here. It's going to basically be sitting another 30 centimetres high than what the Besser bricks are sitting. I'll see how I'll go tonight. I'll rake through here, or tomorrow morning first thing, and I'm going to demacia surf the bottom. I'm suspecting red mites, which wouldn't surprise me. From day one when I built that, the wood I used seemed suspect. They're an absolute nightmare, red mites. So I'm going to demacia surf. It's that time of the year where I'm worming everybody, including my cats and myself. Parasites, like to get hitch a free ride before the winter sits in, and we need to be on top of that. So this is pallets again. I've cut bits of pallets, and this is just a spare oak plank that I had a really long stretch, went all the way down here, and I cut this up. So how I've done this is two sides. It's okay, Suna. Are you curious? What is it? What is it? It's going to be the Chook's house. Yeah. I won't lift this one up because she'll probably freak out a little bit. So what I've done is I started off with doing 4 posts to do each corner. So this will actually be their new house. And I'm going to put it across their lengthways. The back will be all clattered up. And that way when it rains, it will just hit basically a wall. But I am actually going to put something like this, just to lessen the amount of rain that goes into the run, because I want it to stay dry. So I started off with those 4 pieces, and then basically nailed in a bottom cut, and I wanted the posts to be flush, so they're nice and thick on the outside. And I've gone 1, 2, 3, just off the side, two nails per strip of wood. And then I used a couple of scrap pieces of wood that are the same height. I know. Is it exciting? It's not either, so the Chook. No. Yeah, what are you doing, honey? Oh, my poor baby girl. Yeah, but she gets so happy. Yeah? We can't say goodbye yet because you get too happy. And you like to tell everybody off. When you stop telling everyone off, when you stop telling everyone off, being so happy, then maybe it's time to go, but not yet. Oh, nah. Oh, honey. So anyway, so I used a couple of pieces, and just had them flushed in there to make sure that this top strip of wood that I nail in actually sat with a gap. The reason why I've got a gap here is because I'm going to use chicken wire on the inside to stop anything crawling in as vents, but I am actually going to make a sliding window or shutters to put over there so I can block out if it's too cold. But I want ventilation coming through on either side, but there's enough height here for the hens to crouch down and snuggle up and keep warm whilst having ventilation. So that's honey. So this is going to be, all intensive purposes, the front. That one that's lying down like this will be up that way. So once I've got that up there, these are the strips that I cut this morning as well. So as you can see, they're beveled, and they're basically going to lie just like the house, flush going all the way up here. I've got enough to do one facing wall here, and then as for the front, I'm going to put the solar censored door. I have a little bit of extra wood of that left, odd cuts, probably just enough to do a side panel. If it's not too fast. I've got a few more strips of pallet wood there that I can use to, you know. But anyway, so all the weight of the chook house is actually the 4 posts and these side pallets, whereas that back cladding is actually going to be quite light. Each of these sides would be about 10 kilos. And then how I'm going to make sure it doesn't move is I'm actually going to, once I've done the back wall, I'm actually going to create a notch with another piece of wood just like this. These are just to keep the pallets lined up and stable into the table. So that way I can actually lift the house off the base when I need to clean it. Yes, Catherine, or move it without having to lift the whole thing. Hi! It's one of the most frustrating things with chook houses when you buy them in pieces to be pre-made, you know, or you get a chook house, is bloody moving the thing. It's really frustrating. So I like this sort of, my next build was going to be something that I could literally pull apart and put together quite easy. And good quality wood that would stand the weather even though it is relatively under shelter. So the nails I actually used recycled the nails that are in the pallets. They're rusty, long, but bloody tough. I tried to use some screws that I had that are new, cheap China shit, and literally they just busted. I only tried to use one because I couldn't find another nail, and I found one eventually. I found another strip of wood that was lying about with the same nails, and I used that. But water, honey, go drink some water. They're sitting there panting. No, my babies. She's so gorgeous, lady. Now, Flint is acting weird. Like he I don't know if he's just in bliss. He's content. He's not running around but it's getting to that time of the year when they start losing their colouring and they start to eclipse the boys. And so his feathers are looking a bit tattered, but he does pump his tail when it's hot, so he struggles with the heat. But just in case, they're all getting wormed at the moment, so, you know, twice a year I like to do it. I didn't do it this year, or last year. I only did it once last year. I should have done twice, so we're well overdue, just in case. So anyway, that's where we are so far. And as you can see, it's not actually going to be flushed, you know, either side. I'm actually going to have it probably about an inch at the front so the hens could climb up. And I'm going to make a ladder for them to go up. Now the reason why my chook house is so tall, not just because I like to be able to walk in there without having to bob my head down, but I'm actually going to create a roosting tree so they can climb. I want to mimic the gallus in the wild. Chook. They've got their talons. It's good for them to climb, and I don't see enough habitats created for chooks as though they were in the wild, if you know what I mean. So I really want to utilise that. So this is nice and high. I'm probably going to put their dust bath under there. I might make a little water feature on the other side of the run for them, and that way too, with the dust bath under there, especially when I've got that weather shield, something like this, even if it's just a tarp for the time being, it won't get wet by the wet weather. And then they'll have all this opened up. Like literally this house was there, and then I'll put this run over the top. I didn't move the house because of the bricks, and it's like, yeah, so gonna have to move that around. What's going on, puppies? Oh, blah, 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 blah. So what else? Oh yeah, literally the day my arm was broken, I was cutting down these trees, plum trees, as you can see what I mean? Plum trees are going straight into my roof. So everything just climbs up and goes straight into the roof. And, you know, yeah, it's a nightmare. So anyway, I had started and I got these cuts and broken arm. And the chains come off my pole saw. So I need to put the chain back on. And I really would like, over the next couple of days, to finally get through and cut this down. Do some major TLC of my potting greenhouse. So I've got a greenhouse just for potting and shelves. I also am aiming on growing turf. And if I'm looking at what I've got, if I find I'm not going to have enough time to set it in for winter, I'll just buy rolls of turf. And I'm actually going to turf this section here. And this is where I'll have a table and chair for myself, but I'm also going to have this as a geriatric area, as you know, for the birds that are old or injured or struggling, or you know, they can't keep up with everybody, like Sooner and Kit Kat here, so they can see everybody. They're outside, but I want green in there for them, and so I want to turf it. That said, I am going to use the hardware cloth though, or the chicken wire, the close gauge, 10 mil. I'm going to have to do the entire perimeter of the house with the chicken wire to stop any rodents that are going, the rats, the native rats especially, going in the house, underneath the house, and then out again. So I'll stop that. Because again, it's not just like, this is so bad. Look, can you see how warped it is? Oh my god. So you need to nip that in the butt. And having that turfed as well, they're not really going to enjoy, you know, sitting on short grass, if you like. And I'll have a couple of nesty sections for the ducks that need it during the day. And at night, just, clear that out and put fresh stuff in the morning like I do with the runs. So look at that, that's so bad. They're really taking the piss here in Victoria when it comes to renting. Like, they just don't freaking care anymore because there's a shortage of supply, so they're just getting away with everything. So look at these steps. All the water and rain just go straight into the door, and it's all wet, and this is all rotting and collapsing. When my arm was in a brace, I actually literally tripped and fell on my arm in a cast to boot. It was so bad. Because this actually moves, the step actually moves, it wobbles. So what I'm actually thinking of doing is creating my own decking, and then what I'll do is take out these hex nuts, measure it out. I do need to get a angle laser level to make sure I get it flat. And I'm just going to put in a deck myself, a nice square deck, so that way I don't have steps to come down straight out the door when it's all wet and slippery. And I can put on my boots, I can hose down troughs, all that sort of thing right here. without having to work in narrow spaces, because I tend to come out in my sneakers, put on my boots, vice versa. Yeah, so that's the other project I've got in mind. And also I want to create a hex platform around the pond, the pool. I'm actually going to line the pool with pond liner, and I'll actually leave it behind when I move, and I'll just make sure I have a few of these doggy pools with me, fresh ones to go when I move. Yeah, but I don't mind having a pond made up for the whoever comes in next. But anyway, so the only thing is I've been humming and hawing whether to actually move the chook house and the chook run over to the section over there where the olive tree is and where the low-lying peach tree is, just so that way I can have the chooks literally just have that little area over there at the back to themselves, so they can scratch around. So I can let them out of their run to scratch around in just a specific area that's fenced off. I don't know, we'll see. But I definitely need to get this house, poor thing, it needed to be done, but I'm quite excited and happy about how the new house is going to look. And of course, once it's all done, and I've got the Mr. Frigg, handsome, my boy, I will sand it down and give it a few licks of paint. I don't know whether to just do all white or red with white trimmings, typical Swedish or Nordic house. Anyway, Luna. I start getting these kids ready. So Lady and Flint, I'm going to bring them in now for a bath. And she's already become quite tamed and trained in the week that I've had her. Anyway, that's it from us. Catherine! Oh, won't you? Well, that's it from us for now, and there's an update on the woody stuff and project. What a dickhead. Like, seriously. Whenever I hear music like that, I just think,